I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Stalemate. And that is due to a very good full moon that we are having tomorrow at the 29th degree of fate in Libra. Libra is the traditional ruler of the 7th house of peace and partnership, love and marriage, the law and all legal contracts, and it rules diplomacy and compromise and reconciliation and treaties and truces, and it rules the arts and decorating, and it rules anything where it involves harmony or balance. And so a stalemate can occur right now, and that is a type of balance between two choices, and a stalemate could occur if you can't make up your mind about either one. And that may be where we are this next week, and that's because the new moon, our full moon tomorrow at the 29th degree of fate in Libra, is opposing the sun at the 29th degree of Aries. Well, Libra does rule partnership and balance and harmony, but Aries rules new beginnings and pioneering efforts. So these two critical planets, the lights, are both at the fateful 29th degree. It means there's no more room to move in the sign, and generally it means that something's got to give in one way or another. And they are both being squared harshly by Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and also by Pluto, which is in Capricorn. And now that unlucky south node of the moon, which moves backwards in a sign, is within 1 degree of conjuncting Saturn. And so it can be that there is a stalemate or some decision that you might be contemplating, and you may feel you have to make it in the next week, but it could be a very difficult thing to do. It might be just too hard to make a decision in the next week, and that's why the stalemate can occur. And there is a third planet that is at the 29th degree of fate as well, and that is Venus, which has now gone up to the 29th degree in Pisces, and it is joining Neptune in Pisces. And Pisces rules dreams, and it rules things that are hidden behind the scenes. And so this can be a time when somebody can be sort of waking up from a dream and having to face reality. It might be a lot of people that have to do that right now. And so this can be a confusing time, because when the sun and the moon either oppose or square each other, it can lead to indecision or confusion. So a lot of people could be asking themselves questions and sort of trying to come up with the answers right now. One question could be, should I go or should I stay? Well, you see, that could lead to a stalemate if you don't exactly have the right answers there. Or another question could be, should I give in to some sort of peaceful agreement right now? Or should I decide to strike out in a totally new direction of my own? Remember that sun is in Aries, which does rule new starts. Or another question that a lot of people could be asking right now very seriously is, what course of action should I take that can be most profitable in the long run? That is something to consider, and that might take a little while to figure out, and that might be why we are at a stalemate or looking at one this next week. So there's all kinds of reasons to, even if you're facing reality, to be a little bit confused or undecided about something right now. At the same time, there can be a real insistence by some people who are leaders in large corporations or government agencies. That's what Capricorn rules. And they can be really grimly determined to get their way, perhaps based on greed or corruption. And that is because the planets in Capricorn are being trined by Uranus in Taurus, a fixed financial sign. So they have some backing. But that full moon in Libra is squaring the planets in Capricorn, And the sun in Aries is squaring them too, so the lights are not with them. And that's why they can be even more grimly determined to get their way on some matter. And so it may not be such a bad thing that we can be looking at a stalemate somewhere in our lives in the next week. Because maybe indecision and confusion is a little bit better than making the totally wrong decision. So maybe it's better to just wait and see. And yet at the same time, we are going to have to put aside our personal considerations right now, just when we're trying to figure everything out. And that is due to the fact that there has to be some type of business matter that must be resolved right now in all of our lives. So whether it's a big matter or a small one, there's some business matter that has to be resolved. And the reason why is because of the 5 planets in the cardinal signs right now, that full moon tomorrow and the sun, and the and Mercury is in Aries as well. Those are 3 planets opposing each other, and they're all being squared by that Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. But of the 5 planets, only one is at home in the sign it rules, and that is Saturn. And that unlucky south node of the moon is at 21 degrees of Capricorn, and Saturn is at 20 degrees. It's almost a perfect conjunction. That's why people can be grimly determined to have their way, but at the same time, it is pointing to the fact that some business matter must be resolved before we can get out of a stalemate and make some good decisions or choices of our own. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, you can certainly be right on the verge of making a new beginning, because that sun in your sign is at the fateful 29th degree, but it is being opposed by the full moon tomorrow in Libra, also at 29 degrees, and it is being squared by Saturn, Pluto, and the south node of the moon in Capricorn. And so you may be right on the verge of a new beginning and quite eager to get started on it. And you may be well prepared now too, if you've been working on it for a while. But at the same time, you could be coming under a lot of pressure to address some sort of business matter that has to be resolved first. And so that could be leading to a stalemate, because it's possible that the business matter is not in your hands. It might be in somebody else's hands, and maybe you're having to sort of wait right now on them. There may be nothing wrong with that though, because it just gives you more time to prepare for your new start. And Jupiter in Sagittarius is trining your sun, and will continue to do that until December 3rd. So even if you are slowed down a little bit right at the moment, Aries, you're still going to have good fortune for the rest of this year, at least until early December. And so, you know, if something is stalled a little bit right now, that's all right, because a business matter really has to be decided first before you can go on. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, there are, once again, no planets in the other fixed sign, so that means there's nothing squaring and opposing your sun sign, where you have Uranus, a planet of sudden surprising change. And that Uranus in your sign is being trined by that grimly determined Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. And what you have to look forward to, Taurus, is that the sun at 29 degrees is going to come right into your sun sign and immediately conjunct that Uranus. So I think that you can be on the brink of something new as well, Taurus. Or it can be that a new financial venture can sort of suddenly arrive. It doesn't mean today or tomorrow, and in fact, everyone is going to be facing some sort of a stalemate in the next week due to a business matter that has to be resolved. But if something could clear up pretty fast, you may have a unique opportunity to go in a new direction, or to make a really good career choice for yourself. And one of the questions that you would certainly be asking, Taurus, is what course of action would be most profitable in the long run? That's a question you should come up with the answer to before you decide to make a move, Taurus, because you really can be very affected by making very good long-term decisions right now. So take your time. Besides, if there's a stalemate, you'll have to wait for that to clear up anyway. So really think seriously, because you may not have to do too much. You might be just staying where you are in order to have a very profitable outcome in the long run. So you might not have to change too much. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time that can be rather fortunate for you, and that's because Mars is in your sign, but it's being beautifully trined by the full moon in Libra tomorrow, and together those two planets are also trining the sign of Aquarius. So you may be involved in some sort of partnership or legal issue that has to be decided upon one way or another, and if it's at the stalemate stage and you're not too sure which way it's going to go, then I think that that could probably benefit you right now, because Mars is in your sign. You can be eager to strike forward or be very aggressive right now, and instead, Gemini, you just need to be sort of quiet and wait and see what happens next, because if there is a stalemate, that might give you a little extra time to decide what you want to do, or that could even bring you better partners in the future. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that you do need to be directed toward the future. Maybe you're looking for partners who would do you more good in the future than the partners you have now. And so that's fine. If you have to take a little breather this week and sort of wait and see what happens next, or have a business matter resolved first, that could tend to benefit you in the long run. So just think positive. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when I think that something has to be decided in a relationship. And the reason why is that Venus is the third planet that is at the 29th degree of fate. And it's in Pisces, and that trines your sun. And Neptune in Pisces also trines your sun. So I think that there is some matter that involves a relationship, or it could involve some sort of decision that involves a family member or a home or a real estate matter. And I think that it's sort of on the verge of being decided, and it might involve making a new start somewhere, because Venus is going to go right from the end of Pisces into Aries, which rules new beginnings. At the same time, you have to counter challenges that are in your everyday life. And that's because they're coming from a lot of different directions. And that's because that full moon tomorrow in Libra is squaring your sun. The sun in Aries is squaring your sun, so that can make a new beginning a little problematic. And then Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn are opposing your sun sign. And so it looks as if you are going to be involved in a stalemate, because there can be some confusing choices or some indecision, not just by yourself, but it can involve other people as well. And so there is the possibility that someone's going to have the chance to move on or to start something new. And I think that you'll have to sort of go slow and just try to figure things out right now, because remember, personal considerations will have to wait a little bit until a pressing business matter is resolved first. And that's what everyone is facing right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is a time when the lights are with you. And the reason why is the full moon tomorrow in Libra is sextiling your sun, and the sun in Aries is trining your sun, and so is Jupiter in Sagittarius. So even if we are in a somewhat stalemate situation in one way or another, and it can be confusing, or you can even be a little bit undecided about something, I still think something's going to work out pretty well for you, Leo, and it will involve a new start, and it also can involve the resolution eventually of a legal matter or a partnership issue. But just remember, a lot of people are having to wake up from a dream and sort of face reality these days, and they might be a little slow at doing that, and that is what could cause a stalemate as well. So stay optimistic, Leo, because you have some really good planets supporting you right now. And that is why I don't think you're going to be as undecided as other people are, but you still may have to wait for others to sort of catch up or for a business matter to be resolved first. But I think you've got a lot to be optimistic about right now. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when I think that you need to understand that things are not all going to remain the same right now. And the reason why is, yes, there can be a stalemate. And since that full moon in Libra is right ahead of your sun sign tomorrow, you may be able to see a partnership or legal issue around you that is sort of hanging in the balance. It hasn't quite been decided one way or another. And so that's what is contributing to the stalemate right now. But one of the planets that is at 29 degrees is Venus at 29 degrees of Pisces, along with Neptune in the sign, and they are both opposing your sun sign, Virgo. And since Venus is going to move right on into Aries, I think that somebody that you care about is moving on and going to try something new. It may not be this week, but it's coming up. And I think that you will simply have to sort of prepare for that somebody in your life is moving on and trying new things. I don't think you really are. And the reason why is you don't have to. And that's because Uranus is in Taurus right now, but the sun's about to go in there, and they'll both be trining your sun, and so are Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. So if there is any big decision to be made after the stalemate is over, it's probably going to be in your favor, Virgo, without you having to do a thing. So I think you should just try to smile and be at your charming best. And if there are other people moving on, then that's just fine. It's their choice, and it's going to be your choice to just sort of stay where you are and remain successful. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is a time with the full moon in your sign tomorrow when there can be a lot of light on you, Libra. And so you could very clearly see some sort of a stalemate going on, or indecision or confusion regarding a partnership or legal issue, and the choice that you might have to move forward and start something new eventually. And that's because the full moon in Libra, your sign, is exactly opposing the sun tomorrow, and they're both at the 29th degree of fate, but the sun is in Aries. And also Saturn is squaring your sun sign, and so is Pluto and the south node of the moon. You could run into somebody somewhere in your life, and it might be at work, who is grimly determined to have their way. I mean, they really have lost their sense of humor, and you may not enjoy being around them, or it could be a business matter that you actually have to face first and get it sort of cleared up before you can go on yourself. And so you could be a little confused or undecided about something, but at the same time, it's equally possible that someone else is in the same boat, and they too have to make a decision. So this is a time when you're just going to have to be very patient. And that's all right, because in the meantime, you might be able to take a short trip. That's what Gemini rules, and Mars is in Gemini, trining your sun. So try to relax right now, and don't get too upset by what's going on around you. I don't think anything's going to be decided right now, Libra. And so just try to sort of calm yourself down a little bit and realize that other pieces of a puzzle have to fall into place first before you can finally decide what you want to do. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, it's nice that Venus is at the 29th degree of Pisces along with Neptune, because they're both trining your sun sign, which is great. But it also means, since Venus is a planet of love and partnership, it can mean, Scorpio, that a partner is moving on, or that a partner wants to start something new. And it may be with or without you. And it can be a time of stalemate and confusion and indecision, but at the same time, you could have access to information behind the scenes about plans that other people are making. You may or may not agree with their plans, but you know, it's sort of everybody's choice to do what they think is best for them right now. And so I think that you could learn some information behind the scenes that could be rather important to you and help you make a decision eventually. Remember, we're all having to wake up from a dream and face reality right now, and sometimes that isn't fun. And we all have to put aside personal considerations until a business matter is resolved. You'll have to do that too, Scorpio. And with the Sun and Uranus soon both opposing your sun sign, you should prepare to have some financial drain that you may be facing. There could be a sudden lowering of the value of an investment, or there could be a sudden rise in expenses. And that is something that you'd have to encounter first and get over that. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, this is a time that the lights are with you as well as Leo, because that full moon in Libra is sextiling your sun where you have Jupiter. So that's very harmonious. You could be very popular right now, Sagittarius. And the sun in Aries is trining Jupiter in your own sun sign. So for sure, there is a new start on your horizon. But something is at a stalemate at the moment. It may not be, you may not be responsible for this stalemate. You could be waiting on the answer for something, or you may be waiting on some additional recognition, or you may be waiting until somebody else sort of wakes up from their dream and faces reality and wants to get a matter cleared up, perhaps a business matter. That does have to be done first. And yet, a new beginning is going to work out really well for you, Sagittarius. And if there is a little stalemate going on right now, well, hey, that just gives you a little more time to enjoy that popularity. So have fun. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you may be grimly determined to do what you think is the right thing, or you could meet someone else who is insisting that they want to do something and they'll do it at all costs. And that could be a little grim. So actually, it might be a good thing that a stalemate can be going on right now, because that full moon in Libra tomorrow squares your sun, and the sun in Aries is also squaring your sun where you have Saturn and Pluto and that unlucky south node of the moon. And so I think that you can be somewhat undecided about making a new start, or staying where you are, or trying to finalize some sort of business matter right now. And my advice to you, Capricorn, is just put it on hold for right now. Because even if you're able to come to a clear decision, particularly about what would be most profitable in the long run for you, because you're a sign that does think of the long run all the time, other people are not in agreement about things, or they can't make up their mind. And that's why I think you're just going to have to wait something out right now, Capricorn, so be patient. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a time when, once again, you have to be a little bit careful about the money, because Uranus in Taurus is squaring your sun sign. And you may not want to heed that advice, because after all, the full moon in Libra tomorrow is trining your sun, and your sign does rule the future. And Mars in Gemini is also trining your sun. So you may feel like you're all ready to get going on something, and you may be able to pick up some sort of temporary help or partnership that can sort of help you get going in a new direction. So that would be great. But the sun is just about to go into Taurus, and it will immediately conjunct Uranus, your own ruler, in Taurus, and they will both be squaring your sun. And that's why no matter how eager you are to get something underway, if it's going to cost extra money, I'd go a little bit more slowly if I were you, Aquarius, because there could be hidden costs. And you don't want to get caught short on anything right now. So if there is a stalemate somewhere in your life, it could just be giving you a little time to pause and plan things more carefully, which would do you good in the long run. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, Venus is now at the 29th degree of fate in your sign. You're going to have to decide something, Pisces. And since Neptune, your ruler, is also in your sign and it rules dreams, it's you, Pisces, that can be waking up from a dream right now and having to face reality. And that simply means you are going to have to prioritize how you feel about people, or how much effort you want to put into a relationship, or how willing you are to let someone else go on their way and try something new. Remember that Venus is going into Aries, the sign of new beginnings. At the present time, that full moon in Libra is actually in conjunct or 150 degrees away from your sun. So you may not feel as if you are in some sort of stalemate situation where things can't quite be decided right now, or it would be hard to make a decision. But other people are feeling that way, Pisces. And that's why I think something's going to slow down a little bit or be put on hold, but it'll be all right. I think maybe you need a little bit more time to really face reality. And, you know, nobody can live in a dream forever. And that's because reality is so much better. That's where the real happiness lies. And so I hope you face reality and eventually make a very good decision for yourself. Maybe one that involves a new start. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show, read our blog, and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.